in that great battle, you know. And when they leave that great battle, they're gonna turn from fighting each other and they're gonna try to fight the Lord, man. Go ahead.
God, this is Revelation.
And the fact that they just implemented and we're gonna keep saying this, America First Company last week had a microchipping party, chipping over 50 of his employees in Wisconsin, 3 Square Trade Marketing Company. They gave their employees the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast has been here for a while now, and it's being manifested on a great level through the prophets of Greatmillstone, man. We've been pushing that chip out. That chip is a notable sign from the Most High Heavenly Father that shows his men how close we are to this thing, man. So once they fully implement the mark of the beast, the third world war, the third woe is right around the corner, and our deliverance is right around the corner, man. This situation is very close. It's about to happen. So you should be keeping your shit wired tight, man. Go ahead.
Too late. This is Revelation. This is Revelations 19 and 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven. Which
just lines up right with Ezekiel, I want to say it's the 39th chapter, which talks about the devastation after World War III, and how there were many carcasses and dead bodies that were lying slain, and how the Most High told the fowls to come unto the great feast of the Most High. The Most High is about to kill a lot of y'all people, man. The Lord of the Bible, he does good and evil, and the evil that he's about to bring is death and destruction to America and all of these other nations around the country that oppose him and his people, which are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Right. You people are about to die, man. The Lord is about to kill y'all. Go ahead.
Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power, that ye may eat the flesh of kings.
The flesh of kings. When you read about the kings in the book of Revelations, it's talking about the rulers of these other nations that are around there, man. Go ahead.
And the flesh of captains.
And the flesh of captains.
And the flesh of mighty men.
That's talking about armies, man. You know, that's talking about armies. So all of the armies around the world, every nation that has an army is going to be fighting in this World War III, man. Go ahead.
And the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them.
And them that sit on them. Go ahead.
And the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
Small and great. So it's talking about every fucking body. Because not only is America going to implement drafts, but these other nations going to implement drafts too, man. There's going to be shortages of men. That's the reason why when you go into, I want to say that's 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. It says that the women shall mourn because the virgins shall want more because their husbands will die in the wars, man, or in the famines. So there's going to be a lot of men that are fighting in these wars and women that are going to get put to death over there in the valley of Yehoshaphat. Go ahead. The point that I'm trying to make right here is that every last nation is going to fight in World War III. So there ain't going to be no, okay, well, a certain amount of troops from Russia is going to be reserved to come up against Israel later, to think an evil thought to come up against Israel. Go ahead.
And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image.
That's right. So that's talking about the torment and the destruction that's going to come upon America, because America's going to be hit with those nukes, as well as other nations that are in Europe. And it's also talking about the destruction that's going to happen in the valley of Yehoshaphat, which is gearing up and happening. Hey, can one of you grab Joel 3:9, Baba Kashan? Because the Lord is stirring up these nations to be drawn into that World War III, to that third war's war, man. so that they can fight against each other. When you got niggas that's just trying to change the prophecy, that's trying to change the breakdowns, and just trying to say that won't mean something else, man. Just trying to say that it's talking about the sins of Israel or some bullshit, some nonsense like that. When none of that even fits the it doesn't fit the prophecy, man. Go ahead.
This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare a war, wake up the mighty men. Let all men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
So these weak nations are saying that they're strong. And what's one of the reasons that they're saying that they're strong? They have the ICBM technology the same way that Esau has it. You know, so they're all puffed up, you know, ready to get at this devil, man. And that's through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. Iran, Russia, China, you know, all of these nations, India, they're all ready to get at this devil. They all hate the so-called white man. Habakkuk 2 and 5 to read down. I'm a one. You know, all of these nations are ready to fight that World War III. You know, they're anxious because the Most High is putting it in their spirit. The Most High is stirring up their mind. The same way that he worked on the mind of Cyrus, you know, he's working on the mind of these other nations to get into this World War III. And this World War III has been brewing for a long time, man. Since this devil has came back on the scene, when you go into Revelations, the 20th chapter, it tells you that after 1,000 years, that he shall go out to deceive Gog and Magog and the rest of the nations to draw them into this World War III. I'll take it all day.
You said 3 and 5?
2 and 5.
Habakkuk 2 and 5. Let me grab this real fast in Revelations. This is Revelations 20 and verse 5. It says, but the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years. Oh, Salakia. I'll just jump down to the point. This is Revelation 20 and 7. It says, and when 1,000 years were expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And when the Lord is mustering that thing up, and he allows Satan to be loose, man. He allowed the so-called white man to be loose and to go out and to deceive these other nations and to draw them into World War III. And now these other nations are more than happier to go into that battle against America, man. You know, because they're tired of America. Go ahead and read that in Habakkuk.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5.
I'm still holding it.
Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and as death. It cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Go ahead, keep reading. Shall
not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his?
And all wars are bankers' wars. So the fact that they're fighting this war, trying to draw the world into World War III, you know that they're trying to gain some kind of advantage. They're trying to get something from it. They want money from it, man. They want to prosper from it. They want to be able to subdue and destroy all of these nations, or to allow these nations to destroy themselves, so that they can gain a tighter grip on this world, man. You know, and this devil has been increasing in that which is not his. You know, every single thing that he has is stolen. He took it. Nothing belongs to him. The only thing that belonged to him was Mount Seir, and that's because the Most High gave it unto him. You know? Yeah, but yeah, he took
that from him.
But the Most High allowed him to. Hey, the Most High said that he gave Mount Seir to them. But other than that, every single thing that he had in this world, he stole, man, and he took. Kind. You go. You want to get it, Ezekiel 38?
This is Ezekiel I started 1. This is Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say thus, said Yahweh, power, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army horses and all thy army horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor.
Which this isn't talking about literal horses, but it's talking about the army, and it's talking about the military might of the Russians, man, and how they're gonna come up against America in the NATO. Go ahead.
Horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, and the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with him. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them.
God, because Russia is being a guard to these other nations, you know, and that's the reason why America doesn't just go into certain countries, you know, and fuck with them, because they know that Russia is guarding them, you know. They know that Russia, they're under the protection of Russia. So if they did that, they don't want to just come, they want the third war to happen, but they want to have certain things in place first. So they don't want to just go and roll up into certain countries and mess with them, you know, because they don't want it to get that war popping off, you know, too soon. They want to do it when it's right, when the time is right. Go ahead.
Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. Be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword.
Go ahead.
And is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations.
Now this isn't talking about them coming up against us after we've been established in our land. You know, when it says that thou shalt think an evil thought, you know, just because Esau can think an evil thought against another Edomite, man. You know, when you want to kill somebody, like for an example, you got Edomites that kill their own parents. You know, before they off their own parents, you know, and whether they stabbed them up or whatever they did to them, they thought an evil thought against them. Yeah. You know, just because it say evil thought, don't get tripped up over that word. It's talking about, hey, my man, come on, man, watch where you going, man. You know, hey, just don't get tripped up over that word evil thought. And that word. When it says Salakia, when it says evil thought, you know, it's talking about them coming up against, because hey, the land of Israel is gonna get hit with some nukes too. You know, it's all right, man. It happened, and it happened. You know, the land of Israel, armies are gonna come up against that place and destroy it, man. It's gonna destroy it and break it down, and that land is gonna have to be rebuilt back up. Go ahead.
Which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them.
God. Go ahead and can you grab Isaiah 13 and 16 now? And you finish reading that.
2nd Ezra 13 and 7. What I have seen, the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not.
About the image.
And after this, verse 8, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together.
It says, I looked to behold the region wherewith the mountain was cut out, But he couldn't find it, and the reason he couldn't find it because it wasn't an actual mountain. It was a chariot of the Most High Heavenly Father, but it was big as a mountain. It was bigger than Mount Everest, man. You know, that's how big the chariot, the fathership is. You know, that's gonna come, you know, to bring destruction upon this place. Hold on, because the brother's about to bring out Daniel. Okay. You know, because hey, that mountain is talking about the Lord when He comes back, and Daniel describes it as a rock that smote the feet of the image. That image represented a timeline from the past all the way up into the future, from the time of Babylon, which represented the gold, you know, all the way up into the time of the miry clay mixed with iron, which is Esau's rulership. You know, because it was translated from the iron, which was the Roman Empire, until this empire that's ruling over now, which is Esau's empire, which is partly strong and partly weak. And the scripture says, it says if Satan divided against itself, how can he stand, man? If something is divided against itself, how can it stand? So this kingdom that Esau have is already weak. It already can't stand. But when the Lord comes back and He smites this place, it's gonna be broken into pieces, man. Go ahead. With that thing.
Did you want the part where you're talking about?
Just hit the point.
This is Daniel chapter 2, verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the shaft of the summer threshing floor, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them.
That no place was found for them. The wind carried them away. That means ain't no thinking no evil thought against Israel and making the Most High's people to go off, for them to go into captivity so that you can have a rulership or dominion